This video contains spoilers for The Marvels. If you haven't seen that film, stop now, go watch it, and come back. Marvel Studios was on a downward slide. It started with 2021's Eternals, which barely made $400 million off of a $236 million budget. There were some more successful films after that, but another misfire came with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in early 2023, bringing in $476 million and costing somewhere between $276 and $326 million. The final outcome for Guardians of the Galaxy saw an uptick, but the next film brought everything crashing down. The Marvels, released at the end of 2023 with a budget of $220 million to $275 million, only earned $206 million at the box office. This was Marvel's most undeniable failure. Why did it happen? Perhaps it was too long between films featuring Captain Marvel, with the first coming out in 2019. She made a memorable appearance in Avengers Endgame later that year, moving her character's story from 1995 in the MCU timeline to 2023, 5 years after the snap in 2018's Avengers Infinity War. 4 years in real life between films might not seem long for a sequel, but the MCU had been moving pretty fast up until then. There was a brief post-credits appearance at the end of Shang-Chi in 2021, but with that being the only appearance in the MCU between 2019 and 2023, perhaps interest in the character had waned. For the character herself, what kind of story should be told? Skipping almost 30 years of Carol Danvers' life to bring her up to date with the then present-day Avengers left a lot of her history untold. At the same time, this took away some options for the writers because focusing on the backstory of a character we know survives and is extremely powerful in the present day drains most of the tension from any challenges she might face. Should her challenge be cosmic, like those faced by the Guardians of the Galaxy? Or should her challenge be Earth-centric, bringing her back to a world she had all but abandoned in favor of helping other worlds that didn't have heroes like the Avengers or organizations like S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.W.O.R.D. to protect them? With Marvel tilting more toward its multiverse arc than a cosmic arc hinted at by the celestial appearances in Eternals, Captain Marvel's role in the greater storyline seemed very unclear. This sequel was very much perfunctory, with no real interest in expanding the character, and just made to tick the sequel to progress the MCU arc, like Quantumania box. The third Guardians of the Galaxy film proved that there was still an audience for so-called superhero films, so I don't subscribe to the franchise fatigue theory. If the story is good and audiences are invested in the character, tickets will be sold and seats will be filled. All of this raises the question, how could the Marvels have been saved? I have one solution, and for me it seems the most obvious. Get rid of Monica Rambeau. Before that, let's take a look at the basic plot. Baddie Dar-Ben of the Kree recovers a quantum band which can be used to open interstellar jump gates. Doing so disrupts the functionality of the existing jump gates. Her main beef is with Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, who destroyed the Kree Supreme Intelligence after the events of the first film. Captain Marvel had been manipulated by the Supreme Intelligence and used as a weapon of genocide against the Skrulls. and Carol wanted to get some payback along with stopping Kree aggression against other races. After that, Carol left to travel the cosmos, helping the displaced Skrulls find new homes and aiding planets and species who needed her help. I suppose a lot of this was to atone for what she had been forced to do while mind-controlled by the Supreme Intelligence. Without the leadership of the Supreme Intelligence, the Kree homeworld of Hala fell into civil war, resulting in the loss of their air, water, and sunlight over the following 30 years. Basically, what Carol did was arguably justified, and what happened to the Kree after that was their own doing. Carol was friends with Monica's mother, Maria, before she gained her powers, was brainwashed by the Supreme Intelligence, and disappeared for several years. Carol met Monica when Monica was very young. It is implied that after leaving Earth to exact revenge against the Supreme Intelligence, Carol's mission prevented her from returning to Earth. This resulted in Carol not knowing that Maria later got cancer. Monica, while waiting for her mother to recover from surgery, disappeared in the snap caused by Thanos, only to return 5 years later in the blip caused by Tony Stark. The hospital room was empty, her mother having died a few years before after her cancer came back. Monica had been working as a member of S.H.I.E.L.D., SWORD, and subsequently returned to work as seen in WandaVision. It is during this series that Monica gained light-based powers which aid her in her missions. Anyway, Monica Rambeau investigates a jump gate near Earth while Carol checks out the one newly created by Dar-Ben. When they touch gates, some kind of quantum entanglement happens and people start switching places. Monica with Carol, Carol with Kamala Khan, and Kamala with Monica? Wait, Kamala Khan? Who is that? We meet her in her own series, Ms. Marvel. She is a human mutant who possesses another quantum band and idolizes Captain Marvel. Her bedroom is a shrine to her hero. She goes by the name Ms. Marvel and wears a costume inspired by Carol's uniform. It is her dream to team up with Carol and be recognized as a hero by her idol. Hijinks ensue. Kamala has never met Carol nor Monica. Monica has presumably not met Carol since she was a little girl back in 1995. Carol is unaware of what happened to Monica's mother. The events of the film unfold. So, why do I think removing Monica is the best way to start salvaging this film? Number one, she has no connection to a quantum band, so why is she swapping places with anyone? Number two, filmgoers would have no idea who Kamala and Monica are, as their stories were told on Disney+. Having a baddie to introduce from zero needs screen time, and having to introduce two other characters, while well developed in their respective series, essentially from scratch, either causes the story to drag or the characters to go underdeveloped. The producers can't assume that everyone watches Disney+. The film should be able to stand on its own. Number three, Monica's beef with Carol is trivial. Carol wasn't around when her mother was dying of cancer, but Carol was helping millions of life forms across the galaxy. Carol contributed to returning half of all life in the universe, including Monica. Even in the film, Monica's beef with Carol gets squashed really quickly, and they don't build any kind of real relationship. After all, Carol was her mom's friend. Monica was a child when they previously met, and they interacted back in 1995 for a few days at best. Number four, Monica has no connection in story to Dar-Ben nor Kamala. Basically, Monica's inclusion seems to exist to make use of a character some have seen before who has a tertiary connection to Captain Marvel at most. and to shoehorn in a multiversal element that has no meaning to the overall plot of the film. If you remove her, nothing falls apart. Let's look at a different version of the Marvels, one without Monica at all. Dar-Ben gets a quantum band. She opens a gate and causes disruptions. Captain Marvel is contacted to investigate. Meanwhile, Kamala is basking in her bedroom, daydreaming about meeting her hero, Captain Marvel. Carol finds the new gate and Dar-Ben. There is a fight. Carol comes into contact with the gate, and due to more logical quantum entanglement, swaps places with Kamala. Carol is in the bedroom/shrine, very confused. Kamala is on a distant planet surrounded by aliens. Dar-Ben recognizes the quantum band that Kamala is wearing and attacks her, trying to get it. Kamala fights back, panicking and terrified, but holding her own. Carol shoots up into space to the orbiting sword facility and, under Nick Fury's guidance, tries using the gate near Earth to return to the newly opened gate. Contacting the gate causes Carol and Kamala to swap places again. Before Carol can continue the fight, Dar-Ben flees through the gate. Kamala, floating unprotected in space, is rescued from suffocation and death by Nick Fury. He is already aware of her and her powers, and she is quite starstruck. Carol returns to Earth under her own power, and Kamala finally gets to meet her hero. Carol is very flattered to be thought of as a role model by Kamala. Due to her possession of a quantum band, it is decided that Kamala will participate in the mission to stop Dar-Ben. When our heroes next meet Dar-Ben, her motivations are finally revealed. She wants to use the quantum bands to open gates so that she can steal air, water, and sunlight from other worlds to restore Hala. Carol's role in the destruction of Hala is revealed. Kamala's hero worship is shaken by the revelation that Captain Marvel is not perfect. Carol doesn't feel worthy of being a role model anyway. However, as our duo thwart Dar-Ben's plans at various worlds, meeting alien races that Captain Marvel has saved, Kamala understands that Carol is indeed a hero, and her faith is restored. Dar-Ben decides to target Earth as a final resort, knowing that hurting it will hurt Carol the most. As Carol uses all of her power to try to control the gate attacking Earth, Kamala faces off against Dar-Ben, telling her that her own people caused their demise, not Carol. Kamala is able to use her mutant abilities and her greater experience with quantum bands to take Dar-Ben's band away, ending the threat to Earth, as the power of the two quantum bands is able to close the new gate and stabilize the gate network. Earth is safe. Dar-Ben is imprisoned by sword, and Kamala and Carol have a deep respect for each other. Kamala's dreams have come true, a team-up with Captain Marvel, and recognition as a hero. End credits. Carol journeys to Hala to help restore the damaged planet with the aid of Skrulls and other races that had previously been victims of Kree aggression, opening the door to a new era of peace in the galaxy. Nick Fury approaches Kamala about working for him. As an Avenger, she asks. Kind of, Nick smiles. But younger. Removing Monica from the film allows the same story to be told, albeit without the multiversal connection tagged on at the end of the original. It allows Dar-Ben to have the only beef driving the conflict, eliminating Monica's rather weak, "You weren't there when my mom had cancer" problem. It gives Carol and Kamala more screen time, in which we can explore the complex relationship between hero and fan. We can also make Carol a mentor figure, so Kamala can grow and mature. I don't know how any of this would have affected the box office results, but I think tightening up the plot and giving the main characters, good guys and bad guys, more development would have been possible by streamlining the cast in this way. What do you think? Would you have liked to see this version of the film? Or do you think the movie would have been doomed no matter what? Thank you for watching. See you next time.